But there's another song that sticks in my head from being raised as a Catholic boy, and it was this, you know, back when I was being raised in a Catholic school in Baltimore, folk masses started to also become popular. You had people playing guitars. I'm sure there are Catholics here who remember that. And there was one song that I still remember, and it's a hymn that stays in my head because it motivates me every day. And it's a song, "Whatsoever you do for the least of my brothers, you do for me." And it's from Matthew 25. And I can sing it for you because I remember it just like I just learned it yesterday. And as Derek mentioned, I was part of the Matthew 25 effort in 2008, separate from the campaign, but something that was driven by Catholics who were tired, as Michael Blake was referring to, of being shy about their faith. I worked for John Kerry's campaign in 2004. And one thing that I remember that was very, very troubling to me was the fact that John Kerry had done the ultimate sacrifice when he turned around that boat in Vietnam and went back and risked his life for his fellow soldiers. And yet, we were shy about talking about our faith and our faith as Catholics. And a lot of people opposed to John Kerry made him out to be somebody other than that man. So I determined from that day, I was going to work, when we lost that election, I was going to work to make sure that people understood that progressive Catholics, right, have a role to play, are important in politics, and are not shy about it. So that informs my work in the campaign now. Because as I was getting my assignments from Jim Messina, our campaign manager, and it was African American leadership, and it was working the Hill, and I said as I was leaving the room, this was in October, Jim, I'll do the Catholic outreach too. And he's like, go ahead. And then we had the contraception mandate, then we had the lawsuits brought against us, and all those other things. But that just made me more determined, because we have to fight for the Catholic vote, right? And the fact that Paul Ryan is a Catholic means that there is a bigger challenge to get the Catholic vote. But it also presents an enormous opportunity to explain the differences between his vision, okay, he's genuine about his faith, but it's a very different perspective on who we're supposed to help. And I'm not just, you all know, I'm not just saying that because I support the president. The bishops themselves have criticized the Ryan budget. Many Catholics will say this. Many Catholics will say this about the Ryan budget, that it is an immoral budget. Okay, it is certainly against the values I was raised with as a Catholic. But who can deny that it is a budget that lacks morality because of what it does to the young and the infirm and the children in our society in order to give tax breaks to those who are wealthy. So there's no question that there's going to be a battle for the Catholic vote. President Obama did better than any Catholic, than any presidential candidate has done since John Kennedy. He will do just as well in 2012 because we will make sure people understand what's at issue in this campaign. Ryan, you got your work cut out for you with regard to Catholic vote buddy. And in the battleground states, you know, we have a great metric system. We know where all the Catholics are. We know where all you're from, right? Okay, so we'll be coming to you, believe me. But it's not just about knowing the numbers. It's speaking the values. It's reminding people what the values are that unite us as Catholics and Christians in support of the president and people of other faiths as well. So we will battle for this vote, and we will make sure that people understand it's about an economic vision, it's about social justice. As Derek mentioned, I go to St. Augustine's. It's the oldest African American Catholic church in the District of Columbia. I had been away traveling a lot right in July, came back to that church, and let me tell you, that Sunday that I finally got back there, the tears, the warmth, the feelings like, you go ahead. We got your family back here in D.C. We'll take care of them, but you go and win this election. And that's where that's where my foundation is, and I'm so grateful for that. So we have these challenges of the bishops and Ryan being a Catholic, but we will prevail. We will prevail. We launched National Catholics for Obama in July. The co-chairs, you know, when Romney named his National Catholic Advisory Group, it was 6 former ambassadors of the Holy See, and they're all fairly rich, and that's fine, right? That's fine. But when we announced ours, it's a group of 22 people from across the country, including nuns and priests and lay people and governors, Governor O'Malley, Rosa DeLauro, Senator Durbin, Vicki Kennedy, Congressman Oberstar, right? And everybody has sort of different views about some things, but we all share one thing in common, and that is that we have to re-elect the President of the United States, and we have to win the Catholic vote. There's one thing that the Pittsburgh Catholics for Obama have in a pamphlet that they've shared, they produced and shared, that I just want to finish and quote from. And the fact that it's from St. Augustine himself makes it even more meaningful to me. And if you all would just keep this in mind as you hear about, you hear about how government can't do everything for people, and that's true, right? Charity begins at home, all those things. St. Augustine said many decades ago, many centuries ago rather, quote, "Charity is no substitute for justice not served." Okay? Charity is no substitute for justice not served. And let's keep this in mind as we talk about what our country's priorities are and why Catholics for Obama will be successful in this election. So thank you all very much. We will win, and we will win and go forward with another great 4 years with President Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Thank you.